Hello, everyone. It's been a very long time since we've even done all this setup, but as some of you guys may or may not know, we were in the hospital for a month and a half, so we took a break from YouTube due to everything that was going on. But we've been home now for about 2 weeks now, so we're barely jumping back and adjusting to our regular schedule.
We have been away from YouTube just to, focus on Abel, focus in the hospital, and I literally, as the creative side, I just took time off from everything. I put everything to the side. We have a different vision of how we look at life. I feel like we've gained and lost, and we've just seen a lot of things in these past 2-3 months. But we wanted to really share in depth of what really happened, because on Facebook, Instagram, typing is different. But we really wanted by detail what happened, why we were in the hospital. I know a lot of you watching know why we were there, but we want to tell you more of what we got to see and what we felt.
We had a hospital visit the week before Easter. Abel was in respiratory distress, meaning he was breathing very rapidly and needed more oxygen. So we took him to the hospital, and they told us he had 2 cold viruses. So we were like, okay, he'll get over it. We just need to be in the hospital for his oxygen requirement. Let him get through it. So he started progressing, and we went home Saturday, the day before Easter, and we were home for Easter Sunday.
And we even went to church.
Yeah, we even went to church.
I
think we took Abel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we took Abel to church on Easter, but he seemed to be doing just like perfectly fine. I feel like he
looked really good.
He seemed normal. He was doing normal things.
He was happy. He was being able.
Yeah, Abel was being able. Monday, things started to get a little weird, but I was just like, I think I'm just overthinking. I think I just have anxiety, so I just need to, he'll be fine. Maybe he just needs to sleep it off. So pretty much on Monday, he was just like starting to act not like himself, but still kind of like himself. He was just starting to breathe a little bit differently, like a little bit faster. But we were like, maybe it's just the pollen. Maybe it's because we took him out.
We made every excuse. We said maybe it was teething. Maybe it was the pollen. Maybe he's just being a crybaby.
Yeah.
Just so many things that we just chose to validate. And
yeah, because it was when pollen was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
We blamed that. So we came back home and we did all his breathing treatments just so he could, get a little bit of
We even said it was probably just a big old booger.
Yeah. Yeah. So we thought it was that was like blocking his airway.
You're a parent when you just
throw in
everything, every option.
Monday's over, comes to Tuesday. That was a freaking scary day. Fredo was getting ready to go to work, and I was doing the usual with Abel, breathing treatment in the morning. But I noticed that he was desatting, meaning we have a monitor that reads his oxygen levels and heart rate. Desatting is when his oxygen levels drop. His normal should be like 92 and up at his baseline oxygen, which used to be half a liter. So on Tuesday, he was desatting to like 70 on half a liter. And we were like, whoa, hold up. So we had to put the oxygen up to 2 liters, and even then he was still hanging in the 90s.
He was dropping. He was actually like the lowest I think we saw was 60.
Yeah.
And on oxygen.
Yeah.
We actually went up to we only had the option of 2 liters. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, on the oxygen tank we went up to 4.
Oh yeah, 4.
So like he had this episode as we were like transitioning him from the home concentrator to the tank. Like just in a split second, his oxygen levels dropped and
he turned purple.
Yes, his lips turned blue, and that's when that's when we knew we needed to go.
She's really good at we're really good at knowing I mean, we know our kids, but like something just didn't feel right. And we tried everything. We bathed him. Yeah. I mean, we did everything we could just to avoid the hospital. Was that the day that we called the ambulance?
Yeah, I think we were in the car, like going to
Buford. Because before Easter, we called the ambulance in the middle of the highway.
Oh,
that's a different story.
We went to Janine.
Yeah, that's a different story. I don't want to go I don't want to make this too long.
Yeah. But
I want this video to be effective.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a reason for all this. I promise you'll be hanging there. You're gonna be encouraged. I promise.
So we went to his pediatrician, and he had seemed to calm down a little bit, and she wasn't like she's seen him at his worst. So that wasn't his worst that she has seen him. So she was like, oh, okay, yeah, he definitely needs to go to CHOA, Children's Hospital, and we'll call an ambulance. And so they gave him oxygen there, and he seemed to be like okay, like he wasn't still like happy Abel, but
he was on still a good bit of oxygen. I think he was like, wasn't he at 8? No, that was in the hospital.
Yeah.
He was at
like 3. Speed things up, emergency room, got admitted. We went to the PICU, right?
That was the first.
Oh, no. Sorry. We went from the emergency room, we were admitted to like the regular pediatric
Yeah,
ward.
it was just regular because he seemed actually really good.
Yeah, he seemed to like get his energy back. And
what was it that caused us to go to the ICU though? Okay. Which is the PICU.
So
that's where I want to like.
Okay.
That's where everything was.
Like the scary part.
Yeah. We're trying our best not to be all over the place, but we were literally all over the place in real time there. As they were transitioning him, it was early in the morning because he was his work of breathing was like not so well. And so as they tried, he actually turned really, really, really blue. He stopped moving. His oxygen level was like at like 10. When we got to the ICU, and just fast forwarding a couple days, the 26th was his birthday. And, we asked the doctors, what's going on and everything. And they told us that he's just not breathing too well. And in my mind, I was very confused, and I didn't get it. I was like, God, like, why another storm? They had to put since the high flow cannula wasn't doing well, they had to put him in a mask.
Yeah, it's called a BiPAP, I think.
It's called a BiPAP. Yeah, BiPAP. I think it's a BiPAP. It's basically
it covers your whole face pretty much.
It covers his whole face. We couldn't see him for like that whole day. He was awake, but he was still very distressed.
In the hospital, they go in there a lot of times, especially in the ICU. They go in like every 2
Shout out to all the nurses that never let me sleep.
Yeah. Like every 2 hours, right? So I had heard it. I'm a very light sleeper, so usually when they come in, I wake up. not Fredo, but I honestly thought like it was just them checking in, doing another breathing treatment. So in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. But when I heard the nurse or the respiratory therapist kind of freak out a little, they woke us up because they were wanting to ask us if like his breathing rate was like if that was a normal for him.
It was really loud though, the way he was breathing.
Yeah, like we could hear it.
He was just.
It was very deep and
deep and slow.
Yeah. So like
his lungs got so tired
of doing all that work. Literally at that moment at 3 a.m. His lungs just.
It was just like, I can't no more.
They were just tired. They were just done. Everybody comes in, right?
Yeah, because his numbers dropped really bad. Like again. Really bad.
He had another episode.
And he turned purple. And so when I heard them, he's going to need a breathing tube. I mean, my heart dropped. Yeah.
But they were like thinking out loud, like as everything was happening, and they threw out the word intubation. And I was like, whoa, like how did we get here? Like, I think it was more scarier because we haven't seen a breathing tube since the NICU 2 years ago when Abel was much smaller and he doesn't remember that because he was a lot tiny.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, like
it's been 2 years.
It's kind of like all a blur now.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing that like triggered the anxiety.
Yeah, because the breathing tube for us, it's one of Abel's giants. Like we've seen the breathing tube do many things in Abel's beginning stages of his life. And so to get him off of it has always been the battle. That's been the giant. They actually told us to leave. That's what it was, because he had to be intubated.
And we couldn't be
We were scared. I felt scared, anxiety, all fear, trauma. Everything was just, it was a hard pill to swallow. Of course. We're going to take another break because Abel's feeding pump just ended. So I'll see y'all in a few seconds.
Play.
And we're back. So, where did I leave off? Oh yeah. So she told us that we had to leave because he was getting intubated. In that very moment, we didn't know what to do. We were scared. We didn't know what was happening. But I remember after that, we went into the restroom and we just got into our knees and we just hugged each other and we were just like crying. But I felt like the presence of God in the restroom in that moment. I felt the presence of God, like it was strong. I felt a covering over us. I felt like everything was gonna be okay, and to fear not. I really felt the comfort of the comforter. We were in the restroom for I think it was 40 minutes. And we were just praying. Said, God, I don't even know what you're about to do. I don't even know if this is Abel's last breath. If you're gonna take him from us, I won't understand, but I'll trust you. Even just like in the Bible, when the 3 Hebrews were in the fire, I said, God, me and Brithzy are stepping into the fire. We're in the fire, and even if you don't show up, by faith, we're gonna be in there until you show up.
I feel like the whole restroom scenario. I feel like throughout this whole journey of Abel's life, or anybody in general who's gone through a difficult time, I feel like when you say, God, I trust you, I know you got me, I know you got us, but I feel like right there in the restroom was the biggest test of trusting throughout the whole Abel's 2 years of life. I feel like that's where God was like, do you really trust me? Do you really trust me like you say you do? Because I literally felt like my heart was being ripped out my chest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I honestly did think that Abel was not going to.
That was it.
I really did think that was it for Abel. I really thought that we were gonna go home childless. We've never experienced such a hurt like that.
Yeah.
In that moment. And just everything in your walk with God was tested, I feel like.
Yeah.
For me personally, my faith was tested, my trust in God was tested. That moment in the restroom, I feel like God was like, do you really trust me?
Do you really trust me? And even if I don't do you still trust me? Even if I don't bring him back to your arms, even if you don't see him breathing anymore, do you still trust me?
And do you still love me?
And do you still love me? It was a deeper level of trust. I already thought I trusted God, but it was that uncomfortable stage that you don't know where to run to, you don't know who to go to, what to do. And the more I wanted to run, God's be still. I'm right here in the midst of it. Fast forward, the breathing tube, placing it was successful. He started breathing better. After that, he had to be paralyzed for almost 2 weeks. Just imagine not being able to hold your own son or daughter while they're laying in the hospital bed fighting for their life. Regardless of him being paralyzed in that situation, we were still there. And it's the same way when we're paralyzed in our relationship with God. God is still there with us. Every day, trying to get him off the breathing tube. I really want to get to where I'm trying to get to with everything that we dealt with here in the hospital and why we were there and, you know, how we got discharged and everything. They also had to put him in multiple medications that were very strong narcotics. So weaning him off and getting him off from the paralytic and getting him off the breathing tube, all these factors were very difficult. It was a day-by-day thing. He would get better, then he would get worse. He had so much fluid in his lungs. It took weeks to get it all out. Once he was out the breathing tube, it was a relief. I felt a peace because we were able to, you know, see him open his eyes again. He wasn't paralyzed, but it didn't end right there because he actually got basically addicted to the drugs. After that, we started seeing good signs. They actually transitioned us to the TICU. We actually were surrounded by multiple kids with a trach. Yeah. And that to us,
that's scary.
It's very scary because they actually wanted to put one on Abel when he was born. Being surrounded by what we fear the most was a test from God. You know, can you be still when you're being distracted by what you fear? He started getting better. We were actually going to be discharged. They had to watch him for one more day. They said, we're just going to watch him overnight. If he does well, you guys will be able to go home. And of course, what did Abel have?
Misbehaves. Abel got a fever.
He got a fever.
So they were like, yeah, then we're going to keep him.
We're going to keep him. And he had a really pretty high fever.
Yeah.
It's like 103 something.
Yeah. So we thought it was withdrawals, but the doctors were like...
On top of withdrawals and, you know, all these things, it was hard to... Mom life. It was hard to put your finger at what exactly it was.
Just because Abel's so, like, complex and there's a lot to Abel.
We felt let down because we were so happy that we were going home. We even actually came home and left our stuff the day before because...
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Because your mom stayed over there. Something like that. So we didn't have clothes anymore. We're like, we're good. Like
we wore the same thing for like 3 days straight till we had a chance to come back to town.
I stunk.
Yeah, we both did.
So that was a fail. And all to say this, they couldn't figure out why he had the fever. They kept trying different things. They're like, he might have another virus. He might have another pneumonia.
Yeah, because the fever kept coming back.
It kept coming back, and you know they're like, I don't think it's the withdrawals anymore because he was off of it.
So like they ran every single test they could possibly run that could give us like an answer
and they couldn't
for the fever,
nothing.
And nothing.
Nothing. And I'm like, what is it? And so they even brought an infection special team that specializes on rare infections and, you know, different stuff like that. They were literally thinking of everything to look at. And it was in that moment, God, I was like, what is it? I was asking God. We were, you know, we want answers. God, give us answers. Give the doctors answers. And there was that one night, and this is where I wanted to encourage y'all. We were just having a conversation. We weren't really thinking of anything. We were just talking. Out of nowhere, just like a light bulb, just like clicked.
Like something lit up in us.
The answer literally came out of my mouth without me trying. We were just talking, and I said arthritis. And I was like, what if it's arthritis? What I'm trying to say is sometimes we ask God for the answer, and you're the answer. We say, God, give us answers, and He literally puts it in you. But you're seeking it other places. You're seeking it from the doctors. You're seeking it from all the other areas that can be. But God's like, stop praying for answers. You already have the answer in you. that night, it all clicked. I said, whoa, what if this is what it is? And so I did all my research with rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, all these arthritis. I mean, I did my homework. I dissected every fact, everything from the past, from Abel, and just all these things. You were getting ideas like, oh, remember that post? And that's why we post a lot Abel stuff, because we went back, like way back 2 years ago, that gave us an answer through why the fevers and all these things. So we presented it to the doctor in the morning. I mean, I had everything.
We were so excited to talk to the doctor.
We were so excited. Like, I had it all down.
Like, everything just came together and made so much sense.
Yeah, and I sounded really smart when I was talking to them.
You did. The what is it called?
I was like, the inflammatory cytokines don't just sit within the joint area. They also tired of me saying this, but I really stated also. I forgot. Articular something. And they kind of doubted a little bit.
They did.
They're like,
he's too young.
He's too young for that. You know, and I was like, yeah, but Abel doesn't play by the book.
Yeah.
Tell me this answer. Why has he had fluid in his lungs? Why he's been having fever? Why has his inflammation levels been skyrocket? Why has he not been able to walk, crawl? All these things, because when you have arthritis, specific arthritis, not every arthritis, but they don't just affect your joints, they also affect multiple organs in different ways. Liver, spleen, and Abel has really large liver and spleen. And so I said, okay, well, as a parent, let me request a rheumatology doctor.
Yes.
They came in, okay, we'll do some tests, blah, 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 blah. And exactly what we said, it was. It literally what it was. They did a x-ray on his joints, and there was they showed signs of arthritis. Inflammation.
So pretty much the typical, what you see usually in the patient is they have an autoimmune disorder like arthritis, lupus, etc. And then later on that leads to MAS. Mm-hmm. But Abel's like the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. So first he showed signs of MAS, which is
macrophage activating
inflammation in his immune system, or his immune system attacks itself. And then he showed signs of arthritis. But then we were like, what if he's always had arthritis? But the doctor's never.
Yeah, like arthritis causing your joints to be inflamed. All this time, what I'm trying to say is, I was looking for the answer, but God said, you are the answer. Be bold about it. Speak about it. It's okay. Doctors will make mistakes, just like we as parents make mistakes. But God doesn't make a mistake. And he will finish what he started. And I remember saying, God, thank you. Because when they came back with those answers, it was very ironic, because when they told us, yeah, he does have arthritis, it's like they thought we should be like devastated, like we just got bad news. Abel just got diagnosed with something else. Yeah. But I was rejoicing because I said, now we know what to pray for.
Like exactly.
Now exactly. Like we literally put our finger on it. Imagine if we had went home and he got the fever, but once we came home, like God's timing is so perfect.
God is so strategic.
He's very strategic, and just everything, the way it was aligned, we got the answer. The fever came in. They gave us the answer of what it was, arthritis.
He got put on a new medication.
Yeah, so they stopped the Alaris,
which was for just the MAS, and they put him on a new one that was mostly for arthritis, but also MAS.
But it also does MAS. It's 2 in 1.
Yeah.
2 birds, 1 stone. I don't think this video has an ending because we're still battling. We're struggling with anxiety, PTSD. I mean, we came home with a different perspective. We're constantly thinking about Abel. I can be, at work and I can hear the monitor. I replay the scene of him being in the breathing tube. Like, we're still battling with these things. It's already hard with God. I can't imagine without God. If you guys know the feeling of the hospital life, you all know what I'm talking about. We're going to take another break. I think Abel just took his oxygen cannula. So the monitor lets us know that he's desatting. So Abel actually woke up. I don't think Brithzy will be able to come back. We're gonna actually stop this video. But just to finalize, we're thankful to be home. I'm thankful that Abel's home. And thank y'all for being patient and praying for us and being supportive. For those that do think about us, we appreciate y'all. And thank y'all for, the people that financially helped us while we were in the hospital for almost 2 months. It's not easy paying bills at times, but God is faithful. He'll find his way. He'll always find his way. Thank y'all for watching this long video of us talking, but I hope we were able to encourage y'all in some way, and that we also encourage y'all that you tenaciously hold on to his promise and the word that was spoken upon your life, your family's life, or your child, that regardless of what it looks like today, that God is going to finish what he started. And don't forget that God is able.